how do we quantify risk to the organization? There's nothing soft about that. So I think it really challenges that language of, this space being a soft skill space versus really strategic expertise. I think it really depends on what's going on in the organization at that time and what the needs are. I approach everything as a business person first, looking at the entire system, but recognizing where people and culture really fit into the overall system of the business. So, how do we look at the business end to end? Oftentimes people don't talk about, or that doesn't occur to them to talk about the people and culture issues. Always bringing in that topic that people may not think about in the context of the business discussions, I guess is where I tend to focus.
So, like Cynthia said, it isn't just, well, maybe we should invest in talent, in leadership development. No, this represents a risk to the execution of the timelines and ultimately to the performance of the organization. I think that's what we bring to the room. That is, to me, that's strategic advice. And that's really what we bring to the table that others might not be able to, again, because they don't have that expertise. They may not be able to put it in those terms to actually thread so that people understand. And quite frankly, interestingly enough, you can quantify those risks. That's the other thing we are often confronted with. Well, how do you quantify these soft skills? That's not a soft skill conversation. That's a very direct, financially quantifiable conversation that we're having.
I guess I have the mindset that I have to prove that I add value every single time I am in the room. So I don't know that I felt that because of my background in particular. It's more, I have limited opportunities to add value to this organization, to the shareholders. So every time I'm in a conversation, whether it's in the boardroom or having other, advising conversations or being part of different committees, I feel like I need to prove that I add value.
Being an effective board member goes beyond just your experience, your work experience, your lived experience, your career and profession. I actually approached it through the lens of really wanting to understand governance. So through the National Association of Corporate Directors, I went through their program to be certified as a governance fellow because I felt that that is an obligation I had as a board member to understand the governance. How do effective boards work? What's the expectation on me as a director? Not just the legal expectations, but how I show up and how I add value. It's that mindset when you ask, do I feel like I have to prove myself? That's what I'm doing to prove the value. It's this external, I call it both the external and the internal look. It isn't just how you add value in the boardroom, but do you understand the operating environment and the context in which the organization is operating so that your advice is contextually relevant, is something that, I think is a real critical role that we play as directors as well.